Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Man United Agenda, and it's a somber mood in the house today. I'm joined by Patrick, Shah, and Yank talking smack, and we're going to go over the defeat at Arsenal. Oh, good evening, guys. What? It's not evening in America, is it now, Yank?
No, it's 10 in the morning.
10 in the morning. Oh gosh. So I actually want to start with you guys because I'm going to throw it over to you because it's obviously we lost to Liverpool. We needed to make amends today. We didn't, but I just want to get some opening thoughts from everyone. I'm just going to start quickly, and I'm going to say we've had a couple of hours now to revise what happened, and I thought we showed a bit of character today. So I'm not going to be too down on the boys, and there's a lot of change to come. But I think we played pretty well in some parts. So, and a bit unfortunate with some things, which we will be talking about today. Patrick, your body language is. Let me have it. How you feel? Opening thoughts.
Well, since the result, we've had a few hours to think about it. Yeah, I was a bit like Ralph. I've been like just a bit melancholy, a bit left in thought, knowing what's happened. But to be fair, on Monday, the momentum wasn't with us. It was with Arsenal because they beat Chelsea in the midweek. They're on the up. We've obviously got hammered at Liverpool. So I sort of knew what was a little bit of coming, but I did predict 3-2 to Arsenal. It wasn't far off it, if you remember, on Monday. But to Arsenal, sorry. So, yeah, I sort of knew what was coming. But, it was a bit of character. I saw a bit of character as we came back. So, yeah, But I saw them play well. But yeah, we'll go into that in a bit. But I just knew what was going to happen, and we knew the same pattern was going to happen as well. I did. But a little bit of characters sleeped in there with Ronaldo. Fantastic. He led the charge. He did lead the charge.
Well, we've got plenty to talk about today. But Connor, over to you. What's your opening thoughts? I mean, how are you feeling at the moment?
Patrick, again, extremely wise words. The momentum wasn't with us. And I kind of have to think, does Ralph officially announcing Pogba will leave at the end of the season, did that have any effect on morale for the players going, oh, crap, Pogba, this player that's, we know he's a very popular player in the dressing room, a guy who's liked by everybody there. He's now officially apparently leaving with Ralph coming out. Does that have an effect on morale? And I will say, I'm going to call out the referee during this, and I talked to you about that pre-match. There are very sketchy decisions both ways. But at the end of it, we should never let referees decide whether we win, lose, or draw a match. And there are definitely points in that match that you can fully blame this loss on the players. But I'm still positive for the future.
Shah, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you for a while. Good to have you back on the channel. I know you're a top Man United fan. You go to all the home games as well. How do you feel right now? I mean, losing to Arsenal like this.
Well, I think us conceding in the first 5 minutes, we've had these problems before. We've had it against Tottenham. Teams come out, fast breaks. We get caught out sleeping. I don't know what they had for dinner last night, but it must have been nice at the hotel or whatever it was, because obviously they're coming out with a bit of a full belly, not being alert. All in all, if I'm honest with you, we did see some passion, we saw some desire, but we just don't see togetherness. We don't see midfield and defense understanding how to play with each other. Our attacking wise, we're fine. You got Sancho, Lang, they all play with 100% heart. Ronaldo, they all play going forward fine. And I think today we probably made Arsenal look better than what they did, because we allowed them to have a little bit more space. The fact that you had Matic and McTominay in the middle and not really being able to dominate Saka. I mean, Saka ran all over Telles and muscled him out the way. And, they're just little bits that I think to myself, like, what do we need to do to take us to that next level? And really, our position in the league just shows where we are.
Okay. So overall, I just want to say, like, there was a stat the other day that when we scored early in a game recently, it was the third time we scored within 15 minutes this season. and so we don't usually start too well. And then against Liverpool the other day, I mean, with all the build-up, everything else, we conceded very early. And what do you know? We start off today, and we've conceded a goal in the first few minutes. Now, I've got my own interpretation, which I'm going to come back to about the goal, because I think we're going to discuss the goal first of all, and just like you set up, like the other day, we set up with 5 at the back. We say, right, we're going to be rigid. We've always done drills at training, everything else. You say, right. They always say, it's tradition. Everyone says, go out there, don't concede, guys. Start early, get in there, everything else. And then we concede really early against Liverpool.
It's a Sunday league
normal formation, everything else, and we set up well. We're thinking, all right, let's have a good start, boys. Let's get out there and do our thing. And then we conceded early again. Now, I want from you guys, let's discuss this goal. Who's at fault? Let's break this down tactically, and the mentality as well. We go out there and we concede so early. What is going on? And I'm going to start with you, Paddy.
Well, to be fair, I did watch the game. I saw that setup for that goal. They stood off those players. And when it came over, I think it was Varane went through Varane. Tellez did a circus. I don't know what he did. A circus trying to kick it out and couldn't get it out. Went to the player who had a great shot. De Gea saved it. Fantastic save. Would have got in otherwise. With another keeper. And then Dalot didn't pick up the play on the edge of the box. Why? Dalot just again, typical of our defending. Woeful, crap, dreadful. Didn't go for any of the players, and that's what happened. Amanda, they're just plain simple. Dalot went, pointed over. Is it offside? No, it isn't, mate. You didn't pick up the play and didn't close the player down. He scored. Job done.
Just going back to you, Patrick, why do you think it happened in the first couple of minutes? I mean, what's going on?
Well, we're just frightened. We're just, I don't know what to do. Why didn't we just close them down? Varane didn't show a lot of authority. Tellez did his usual, I'm dire anyway, and just flicked it out, didn't do whatever. And then it got the player came in, hit it, a great shot, and De Gea a fantastic save. And then why didn't Dalot throw himself at the ball to try and save the ball going in? He didn't do nothing. The player got in, that was it. And then Arsenal were on the up then. We just looked like as we usually do. And we carried on for the Liverpool game. Just dreadful at the back. Just not authoritative. Not really with it. We just didn't. And we just fell apart. We just looked just as we used. Open as usual. You know what? That's it.
Paddy, thank God you're not manager, because you would be ripping Dalot the way you're going in right now. Connor, what would you have said as manager going out, considering we conceded early against Liverpool? And do you agree with Paddy? I mean, he's very passionate here about Dalot being out of position. What's your thoughts on the opening goal? I hope you're not.
I hope anybody in the comments isn't wanting anybody letting up on Dalot, because I'm certainly not going to let up on him as well. It just shows that once again we have probably 2 of the worst fullbacks in the entire league right now.
Yeah.
They are abysmal. Tellez, I mean, Varane, I can understand him missing the kick because he's going backwards. He's kind of caught off guard. He's only got a split second to try and do it. But Tellez, you've watched that ball from the entire way it comes across, and you whiff. Completely whiff. And then you just turn around like a drunk donkey trying to get in front of Saka again after you've missed. He doesn't close him down. He doesn't try and block the shot. And it's another game of De Gea showing that he's brilliant and getting let down by his defense in front of him. And like you said, Dalot, he's offside, right? How about you show some fucking effort? The guy just ran in front of you. I swear, it's like these fullbacks are blind half the time because they'll call for something, and it's like if you would have just looked past your nose, you would have seen that he just went in front of you. Simple as that. What are we taught when we're little? Patty, you probably played soccer when you were young. SHAH, OMONDI. Be between your man and the goal, right? As a defender, anytime we play, you want to be in between. Your man's here, goal's here. You want to be right in the middle of them. Dalot is looking at butterflies, looking at the cloud in the sky. Probably saw a Glazers Out plane flying over with going overhead, and was like, "Oh, that looks pretty," and just lets him go right in front of them. It's simple basics that our fullbacks can't comprehend, our defense can't comprehend, that's letting us down. And it's let us down again in the first goal.
SHAH, how are you feeling about going out there and conceding so early? I mean, did you let out a big sigh like the rest of us?
Oh, literally, mate. I'm surprised my TV's still on the wall. To be honest with you, like the way that I feel right now. Obviously, when you're a London Man United fan, you've got all our Arsenal buddies and all the Tottenham buddies, you know. And we've had some good away days in London so far. But I think the fact that everyone's saying Dalot was at fault for that game is something that I want to kind of allude to. That really, it shouldn't have got the cross shouldn't have even come into
Oh, it should
play.
have, but once it gets to it, we should deal with it.
So, you know, the fact that you got failings coming from one side to the other and De Gea having to make a save. And obviously De Gea could done well to deal with it, and that's, you know, get it out of the area. But Tavares was gambling. And I think one thing that I would say personally is that if you don't gamble, you don't get an opportunity. And this is the thing that I think, Paddy, you alluded to it, closing down players. I've watched Arsenal throughout that whole game in enough opportunities, carry it 20 yards, 30 yards, the ball, keep going forward. And all we do is just fall back into line, into shape. There's no press, there's no push. And to be honest with you, that's the whole reason. What happens in that wing, when that ball came across, you had everyone, Lindelof fell into Varane's position, which is a natural thing to do. You know, the Dalot falls into Lindelof falls into Varane goes out to support Telles, which is what you do as your defensive line, right? That's the mentality that you do. You cover those spaces. But then the problem is Elanga wasn't far enough back to support Dalot. So there's a lot of pointing fingers, but I think the biggest thing is we shouldn't have been in that position in the first 5 minutes. We let Arsenal come at us. Literally, they were out of the blocks. And if you look at it, I don't think the players just knew how quick Arsenal were going to come out at them or weren't prepared for it. And that's why I said I think they had a big dinner last night.
You know what? I think it's suicidal to give a goal away that early. And I think I was really disappointed with them. I expect them to at least go half time and show a bit of character. But then I have to think about it and I say to myself, all right, the communication's not there. We're mixing up our centre-back pairing all the time after time. Obviously, Maguire wasn't there today. Who's picking up? The main thing for me has been communication. And also as well, when you play in a back four like that, my thing is, if you want protection, get your fullbacks to tuck in and don't let, like Conor was saying, don't let people get inside of you where they can play in between the centre back and the fullback. That's suicidal, and that happened with 2 of their goals, by the way. So I think Dalot, he must be disappointed. I mean, for tracking back, he should have gone with the man as much as he could, and then he stood up, you know, like you said, put his hand up to say offside or something like that, which was never going to happen. I think these are lessons that we have to learn, for the players have to learn, you know. But yeah, it was a really bad start. So, guys, do you think it's more to do with communication, with not having a regular backline, or do you think it's a deeper issue than that?
Do you know what, Monday? I've watched it. I've been at United, as you know. I was at the Madrid match where Telles and Dalot played. Varane was played. I've seen Maguire played as well, but taking Maguire out because he wasn't playing today. Regardless, he's still bad anyway. But do you know what? There is no communication. Telles and Dalot were poor then. Dalot's turned around at the end of the game and said, we need more maturity. Maturity what, mate? Leadership. Tough. Do your bloody job. Do your job. And tell us, talk to each other. None of them, and I watch closely because my seat is too close to the pitch, they don't communicate. None of them. Varane is very quiet as well. Even though he's a good player, he's had his injuries, he still is very quiet. And I think that you're right, there's a communication issue there. And this defence is porous and deaf.
Connor, is it a soft goal?
It's softer than a freaking baby's bottom, that goal. I mean, shoot, I feel like it's Pampers looking at that crap.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. There's no other words to describe. It's not good enough. When you look at it, it's a nice, comfortable mix of low quality and low talking. Varane, I think the thing is with Varane is he's kind of got this curse where he's a very good player, but he's never had to been a leader on a back line because he's had one of the best captains in world football ever in Sergio Ramos right next to him for years. And we all know Ramos is extremely good at talking. He was a great leader. He's always chatting on that back line, always very, very good with leading. Varane's never had to do that. So now that he's on a line where he should be the one stepping up, he's not at all. There's no talking. And if he's a French captain, it kind of shows, because France, there's often been complaints in the French camp that there is no talking in the French team either, especially after they lost to Switzerland in the quarterfinals of the Euros last year, which I loved watching as a Swiss. But it shows there's no talking. But even more than that, there's no quality. You can't, even if you talk, there could be talking and conversation, but if there's no quality in the team, in the fullbacks, it was going to happen anyway.
Shah, finally on this first goal, I mean, calamity. What's your feelings again? Do you think it was a soft goal? Do you think it's a communication issue? Because really, I mean, they've let it go through. Tellez has missed the clearance. Varane, they turned it like this, left to right. Dalot didn't track back and go with the guy. I mean, it's calamity of errors, man. What's your final thoughts on the first goal?
I think there's 2 points. Like, communication's been a problem at our club for the last 5 years, 6 years in defence, from De Gea, defenders. It's been an issue for a bit of time now, to be honest with you. Where, like Paddy was saying, you go to the match, you hear these players, and you don't see it, but then you'll go and you'll see some of the visitors that come. They're more vocal, they're shouting, they're more frustrated. Like, if I look at Ronaldo's tantrums on the pitch, he's frustrated because he's like, why aren't people talking, behind him? He can only do so much. And I think the whole calamity of everything that's going on at the moment, it just shows really that our defence is absolutely in bits. The fact that we lost, conceded against Norwich a few goals, and I think Newcastle, did they concede today? I think when I last saw, they were 3-0 up, for crying out loud, and that's Newcastle United. And the level of players that we have, they shouldn't be conceding goals so softly. I think the communication.
It ended 3-0.
I think there is errors there, but we can talk about them till we're blue in the face, really, and I think we've covered them pretty well, to be fair, gents.
You know what? Let's give a shout out to all the people in the comments. They're starting to pile up now. The first guy, I don't know this guy, is someone called SHAH United. He says, no, Shah's on the show. If you want to hear what SHAH has to say, here he's with us today. So, yeah,
all right, he doesn't need to speak anymore today. He's good.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, literally. That's my line. There's no ammunition, man. We're finished.
We don't have a communication problem on this show. I mean, he's doing it in the comments and on the show. Sorry, Patrick, go ahead.
Yeah, I've got to say, going back to Connor's comments about Varane, you're right. He had Sergio Ramos, who was a bully. He was a bully. He was fantastic at bullying players, and he was with him. They were a partnership. So that was the missing thing. I just want to go back to that quick point there. Thanks, Connor.
Don't forget about Marcelo and Danny Carvajal. You've got reliability.
That Real Madrid team had a team full of leaders.
Yeah.
Up and down the pitch, there's Kroos. You have, the midfield. You have Casemiro, Kroos. You have Modric. You have up top. You had Ronaldo at one point. You have Benzema. Now that Real Madrid team was full of leaders, and now he's come to a team with zero leaders.
Just to add, I want to add a point to that. I think since they both left, I've heard that Real Madrid have one of the best medical staff in the world. And I don't know how they were keeping Varane and Sergio Ramos going, because since they've left, they've gone downhill. They're not getting as many games. I read a stat today. We've played something like 50-odd games, and he's only played 25 out of them, which is less than half, whatever it is. And the same with Ramos. We know what's happened with Ramos since he's gone to PSG as well. So maybe we've been sold a dud here. And I don't think, and Varane, as good as he is, does he need to be led as well? But that's for another show. Do you want to
Jury's out with me. Jury's out with me, Amanda. You're right. I'm with you on that. Jury's out with me on Brown. Thank you.
So this is Luca Life. He's an Arsenal fan, and obviously he's chipping in. He says, I don't want to banter you. I just want to say unlucky. It was good luck for the rest of the season, being nice and generous. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. Arctic Man, says another big game, another flop performance from Bruno. Ronaldo was balling though. I totally agree. Ronaldo was outstanding today. Bath times in the house. He said another afternoon of day drinking ruined. If you don't know, last weekend he had it all planned to have a good weekend, early kickoff and all that kind of thing. And Man United ruined it for him again.
I was ready. I had the house to myself for the weekend, and I was like, I'm about to party and have a good time. This shit happens.
Bath time again. I mean, he's saying, how do we blame the defense on Maguire this week? good question.
Maguire was in the stadium.
They're all bad. I'm sorry, Maguire. They're all bad.
I think he's pushing our buttons. Let's not react. I think he's winding us up. Bath time again said Varane and Telles were far more at fault than Dalot. Keeper should have put it over the goal too for the initial shot. Dalot played okay today, and I don't rate him. This is from Bath time. Just here, for everyone in the channel, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. And there's an alarm button, which reminds you of every show that comes on. So press that as well. Want to say hi to Chelsea fan and Kick as well. You're doing fantastic with your channel. Hopefully we'll meet up during the week because we're playing you on Thursday. And we want the points, but we're not overly confident. Solo's in the house. He's our boss right now, and he's saying big up to the panel. Thank you very much. Big up to you, Solo. We want to say hi to Andrew Williams as well. He's quickly asking, anyone still believe we can get fourth? I'm shaking.
I'm asking for eighth. I don't want us even in the Conference League. I feel like it's more of a disgrace for us to get Conference League than it would for us to just be left out completely of Europe.
Shame. Game of Thrones. Shame.
I don't want to be playing the fifth league. A fifth league German side. Already, right? I don't want to be playing a fifth league German side next year in the freaking Conference League.
Yeah.
I want to be playing in Europa League or the Conference League. I do.
I would like the Europa League. I just don't.
I think it'd be great to play the youngsters in that sort of competition. And by the way, Patrick, I just realised I've seen that meme, the shame meme. I didn't realise it's from Game of Thrones. And Andrew Williams is also saying, "Stop feeling babies' bottoms, Connor."
Oi.
He likes the texture. He knows about softness, and he's compared it to a baby's bottom. Which is old school saying. Big up to Silver Fox in the house, Armory TV. And they must be rejoicing right now. I did appear on their show after the game, and it was went through everything. Referee was pony, didn't help, says Andrew Williams. I think Patrick and the boys are going to come on to that a bit later. Delano France in house said these guys will let you know. Communication about Bath talking about communication. Says communication wasn't an issue with Henderson in the nets. Talking about the De Gea maybe is a bit mute. So we're going to go on to the next topic now. And because after the goal now, we conceded early against Liverpool as well, and our heads went down. But I think we had a lot of opportunities to score goals. I'm going to go through it now, but it was an instant field first half. So we conceded after 2 minutes. After 5 minutes, Ronaldo, who played brilliantly today, his hold-up plays, is bringing people in. He plays Elanga in, who shot on target and was saved through a corner. And then McTominay had a header from the corner, which was he had a lot of time, could have headed it down, but it went wide. That's one good chance. After 10 minutes, now you guys will like this one. It's about distribution, and Ramsdale's been known for having brilliant distribution, but he put a poor pass out, which Matic cut out after 10 minutes. He played it on to Bruno, and Bruno had a shot on, which he didn't really get out his feet fast enough because Gabriel had time to come over and get the deflection and went over, but that was a good opportunity. After 14 minutes, Ronnie again plays in Elanga, in from the halfway line, and he beats Tavares for pace and gets through into the box. Now he's ahead of Tavares, and he could have been a bit more savvy and gone down. I still think it's a penalty, but we will discuss this because there's many talking points to discuss. But I'm just going to move on because that's not the only chance we had. So remember that move. He played a 1-2. Ronaldo played him into stride. He got ahead of Tavares and he drove into the box. And Tavares had hands and everything on him, and Elanga instead, from a tight angle, tried to shoot when maybe he could have gone down because Tavares couldn't get back on him. We had a nice move. I'm just talking about nice moves on the 19th minute, which ended up with a Ronnie shot. He was also involved in the build-up to that play. Dalot hit the bar from outside the box when we also had control of the game. I think Matic was influential because he was popping the ball around and control. Really, more so than McTominay. And Dalot had hit the bar. I hope you guys all remember that one. And then Eddie, their striker, he was played in, and De Gea saved from point blank when he could have just placed it in the corner. And then on the 26th minute, Eddie scored a goal. Odegaard played him in. It was called offside, but then it was given a penalty as well. So the offside was offside, yep. And then VAR decided they want to look at a foul as well from Telles, maybe trying to get back because he got the wrong side of Saka again, and he bumped into him, and Saka went down. I think Elanga should have done the same thing, had the wits to go down when Tavares was there, and that was a penalty, and they score. And then after 33 minutes now, Ronaldo scored. We showed a bit of character, got back. Sancho and Ronaldo were breaking. Sancho played in Ronaldo, a bit heavy, held it up. By this point, Matic, because we know he's slow, got into the half and got into the play, picked it up and whipped in a nice cross. By this point, Ronaldo was touch tight with Gabriel, but managed. Gabriel, I think he showed poor defending here. He was more concerned with Ronaldo, and Ronaldo ghosted him, lost him, and then he didn't fight the ball. And Ronaldo scored a beautiful goal with his left foot, his weaker foot, apparently, from a cross from Matic. And that was mainly the first half action. So there was a lot going on. It's an instant filled first half. I'm going to start with you, Shah. Is there any instant there you want to talk about specifically that we're all going to touch on? Because there's a lot to talk about there. There's 2 goals. There's missed chances. Anyone want to pick up on anything?
I think.
Sorry, Sean.
No, sorry. I was literally just going to say. I think when you look at that battle that Elanga had with what's his name, Tavares. Elanga did beat him on quite a number of occasions. Tavares didn't get booked until the second half. There was definitely a couple of bookings that should have happened, especially with Tavares in the first half, which maybe would have kind of pegged him back a little bit to think a little bit differently, which would have played a little bit into our advantage for Elanga especially. But I think that the immaturity and the honesty that Elanga brings to the game is sometimes, visible in those sort of scenarios where you're not rolling around like you've been kicked in the foot and you haven't been kicked in the foot, like what we see a lot of the modern day players do, where you're going to buy an incident. I think the fact that Dalot, after he made the mistake, he actually did put a lot of effort in. But one of the things that I want to kind of pick out really out of that first half is how well Arsenal played around us in that midfield. I think there's something that we need to really look at. You had Scott McTominay there, Matic as well, but they were getting played around like it was nothing. Literally, the intricate ball passing that Arsenal put together around us was nice to watch from a neutral's point of view, but from our point of view, it was shocking. The closing down, I think some of the other instances include some of the VAR checks and the referees' decisions, but I think we'll talk about those in a little bit.
So what about the action field first half, Patrick? Is there any instance that we want to touch on and discuss? Because Shah was talking about the Elanga running through and not, maybe could have had a penalty.
It was a good knock by Ronaldo. Again, he had a great game. He knocked it over to Elanga. Elanga was on his bike, basically, blessed it. And he got in there and he's pulled down. I don't think it was a penalty. But basically, it was a great. But who ran that? We're talking about the midfield now. Odegaard ran the show on that bit. I know we had Matic there, and I know we had McTominay there. McTominay gave the ball away, I think, on the 24th minute. Too much for me, and I think there was a bit of intricate passing. I see what Shah's saying, but unfortunately, Odegaard, very clever, playing captain today, had the captain armband, did run the show in the midfield today, and that got for them winning the ball. So, and then we have the penalty, but we can discuss that if you want me to, Amanda. I don't mind, or if you want to move on, I don't mind.
No, we're on the subject of the first half.
Okay,
instant.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
Well, the penalty happened again. It was again Tellez. It was. I mean, we had the VAR. Was he offside? But Tellez clumsy, wasn't it? Nudged him, and they went to VAR, and he looked at it. Wasn't he offside? It was a nudge. It was a penalty, and there you go, 2-0 down. There you go. And I think then after that, then we got back into it. You're right. We got back into it. Ronaldo again was playing well with beauty, and it was great. Great professionalism given these difficulties this week. He was professional and got that goal back too. Well, I thought we were in for it, to be fair. So that was, I think, for me. But do you know what? Tavares, Saturday Night Fever on Monday. Yeah, he did. I think he got away with that with Elanga. But Elanga, innocent. He's still a bit raw. He didn't go down, but it wasn't a penalty, I don't think, in my mind on that one. So Tavares, Saturday Night Fever, got lucky with that one.
Over to you, Connor. I mean, instant field first half. Anything we want to touch on? I want to touch on one instant, and we all to talk about it. There's many to talk about. We'd love to talk about it. Yeah, if you could speak up.
Sorry about that. I was yelling at my cats earlier.
Lack of communication.
I'm laughing at my cats earlier, so I muted myself. I mean, and I can get bath time saying he doesn't want to hear 5 minutes complaining about the ref, but when the ref controls the game more than any of the teams did, you have to speak about it. The penalty that gave them their second goal is one of the worst things I've ever seen. It's a simple shoulder to shoulder, and even if he catches a little bit of his back, it's not like he's bowling through the back of him. They're both going for the ball, and yet that's a penalty. And even then, it's a clear offside. I don't know how, that whole thing was a shambles by the ref. The VAR and the refs week in, week out just don't know what they're doing. And I mean, and I mentioned this to you, and you said it's interesting that all this happened, and then at the end of the game, we see the head referee wink at Arteta, giving him a cheeky smile, like, "Yeah, I just fucked over United for you. Here's 4th place on a platter." So you don't see referees going up to a manager and giving a little wink, like, "Hey, how'd you like that?" at the end of every week, just as like a cheeky little "Hello, how you doing?" That's I just fucked over the team for you. You're welcome.
All right, Connor and the panel. Is it a definite penalty? I mean, all right, they've ruled out offside, but is that a foul? Because Telles is running, and I feel his momentum. He's running to get back the right side of Saka. The ball's been played in by Odegaard into him at a level where it's like he had to hold it. It wasn't into his feet or into his stride. He had to stall and hold his run and stop. So he stopped. Telles has gone into the back of him. That's the way I saw it. And I think sometimes discretion has to be used, especially when there's decisions like that going on. So I want to put this out to the panel because it's really big. These are game-changing decisions being made here. I don't think it was a penalty. I think, and given the chance for discretion and someone to look at it again, I'd say, well, he was running, he stopped his run, and he just ran into the back of him like that. I'm not so sure. Anyone want to counter me or agree?
On Monday, it was clumsy. He got done. Telles again having a poor game. He got done. Clattered into him. That is it. Referee's just going to go, there you go, mate, penalty. Looked at the VAR's gone, went over to the box. He went, if I'd gone over the box, I'd go, penalty. Thank you.
It's rather interesting, Arteta's acting when the ref went over. Apparently, again, I'm going to go to a rule here. There's a rule that you're not supposed to talk, especially the managers. You can't get in the ref's ear when they're doing a decision. And yet, as soon as Arteta sees the ref, and the ref's within maybe 5 paces, immediately, going and gesturing him, speaking to him, and then has the Arsenal fans behind him. He goes, get loud, scream at him while he's trying to check over this VAR decision. It's just, I will agree with Andrew. I am being a little bit conspiracy theorist here, but it's a little bit interesting how it's not just one instance here, though. It's 2 or 3 different instances throughout the game and after the game that are leading to my conspiracy theory here. And I am a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. In the end, though, like you said, Telles is just shit. He should not be getting done like that. He should not be out of position like that. So, in all honesty, he deserves to get a penalty called against him because he was terrible, and that's the whole reason that was even called into question. If he's in position and he doesn't get done, either he snuffs that out or it ends up being called offside.
That's my point. I said that on the Army TV. I said I wouldn't usually give that as a penalty, but you've got to take responsibility. The starting position has to be good, and because of that, then you have to take that and take the slap for that. So I agree with you there totally, Connor. It was a thing. But Saka was smart because he felt the contact and went down.
He's a really good player.
Langer, when he was going through and was ahead of the guy, could have been tripped up, could have resulted in anything. He decided to be honest and go through and take a shot on at a tight angle and didn't get a penalty either, when that could have been a penalty because he had touch. If you touch any man in the box, you've got to take responsibility. Anyone else want to talk about it?
Well,
it's a healthy mix, Andrew.
I know about conspiracy theories, and we got on with JFK nuts, so that come on. I mean, Connor, you bless you, but the referees got to go with the referees in respect to that. I'm a bit with referees. I know they have poor games, poor decisions. They got VAR to back them up, but I think the winking. No, Connor. I think that they have to hire. And there's also with BT Sport, they do have the referee and overseer. It was brilliant, by the way, when we were listening to the halftime.
Peter Waldron, isn't it?
Yeah. So I thought it was really good, his view on it as well. I thought there was it's really spot on. I think that it was a penalty, but it was down to our poor play. Again, Odegaard was brilliant, and it was orchestrating everything. So we're down to our poor play. And Telles again, what I've seen in this season, he is dreadful. Beyond the dreadful. There you go.
People have been calling for him to play over SHAH week in, week out. And ever since SHAH was shut down for the season, I've never seen a worse fullback than Telles.
Yeah, well, sure for me.
When you said sure, I thought you meant SHAH.
No, Shaw might have been poor this season, especially compared to last season. But I don't think I've seen a worse fullback week in, week out than I've seen Telles since he's taken over for Shaw on the left. And I honestly would rather have probably anybody from the league right now that plays fullback in the Premier League than them right now.
Well, surely, Connor, you wouldn't have Tavares. You're talking about worse fullbacks, but I thought Tavares was a calamity today.
Tavares could have easily been off with a red with how much he was going on. I actually think some very, very healthy points that a couple cards came out like they should have. They have to kind of switch up their play style, play a little bit more defensive, be a little bit more careful. Those don't happen. They get to do what they want. It's a little interesting. Again, I'm going to end this stream looking like a giant conspiracy theorist, and I'm okay with that because it's true. I am I'm a superstitious person. I'm a very big conspiracy person. I'm okay with that being how I'm seen, but it just all seems a little interesting to me.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I just wanted to butt in, right? Because we're Man United and we shouldn't care about the referees. We should be coming out with results that are goals that are from our play, from our attitude. If I go onto a five-a-side pitch and play football, I'm not thinking what the referee's doing or what decisions he's making. I'm just thinking about how I turn up, win the game, go home with a smile on my face. These lads aren't even turning up. Doesn't matter what position it is at the moment, right? And they're not going home with a win. They're going home. And I think that the fact that people don't buy into Ralph's philosophy, I don't see the players buying into it. I don't see the attitude right. I see so many problems. And I don't think it's like I think we need to actually don't even worry about what the referees are doing because we've got bigger problems at the moment.
Well, can I just come in on that? Just going back to the referees, Connor. When I was coming home from the Madrid match, my mate was with me and he went, "Oh, the referee again, crap, wasn't it?" I said, "Forget the ref. Forget the ref. In Europe, they're poor. Just forget blaming the refs. We were crap. We were poor. They played better than us. They did their job. That's the end of it." And he went, "Okay."
They did their job. They had a little,
Unfortunately, guys, this is not the end of it because the next subject is also to do that. But before we do, I think we had 18 in watching right now. Guys, if you're watching right now, press that like button for us for the Man United agenda. We're doing our best out here to give you the best review we can.
I will agree, though. I will agree that we need to make sure we keep it out of the refs' hands. I will concede that point, and I said that earlier that it is true.
We're talking about the rules.
Yeah.
The rules. Because it has been taken out of ref hands since we had this VAR thing. And that's I think is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing. But we discussed that. Anyway, Bath Time saying Varane deserves a second season. Not being impressed by so far. We've got Canners in the house. Now, Canners he was at the game today. Canners, if you don't know, is the leader of the Armory TV, Arsenal TV. So they're having a good season. And Canners is a great host and a great guy as well. So he's saying, I was at the game today. We bossed it first 35 minutes. From there on, it was all United until you missed your penalty. After that, your heads went. Stand-up performance, Ronaldo and Sancho.
Just wondered before you move on to the next point, can I just butt in there? Sancho has second behind St. Maximum from carries in the second half. Like he carries forward into the attacking half along the Premier League. I think he's got 71 like before this game. There's a little stat that I picked up, but watching him today, all he done was he wanted to go forward. His feet were lovely, and I think like literally we're
going to do a player rating, so I'll give you opportunity during the player rating to really endorse him. So get your notes down, and let's all do a Sancho big him up. Just going through the comments here. Andrew Williams saying Bruno is starting to close in the top 3 of the most overrated players in the Premiership. Rebels in the house. How you doing, Rebel? All the way from Ireland. He says, seems like Varane is being held together by sticky tape, to be honest. If he could stay fit, he's clearly qualified. Quality. Let's be honest, the Arsenal defence was awful today when we couldn't capitalise. Bath Time said, I want a Conference League. If I want Conference League.
I can see that.
It will be a lot of fun. Tyrone Williams is in the house. Said, I can't blame Maguire for anything this time. It's a squad issue. Ten Hag can't come quick enough. Wish the season was over. Andy Williams saying, anyone thinks that the dumbest hypocritical comment of the season came from Paul Scholes today, dragging Arteta for trying to pressure the ref. The same Scholes who wanted Simeone as our new manager. Going through I want to say hi to ATT MUFC. Is that your guy, Patrick?
No, not for me. I don't think it is. No.
Well, he's saying he welcomes a rebuild. I want to say hi to Matty as well. Football United TV. Check them out. Quality channel. Do a lot of international football as well. And leagues that you don't know about. So this is Matty saying, only 2 players let us down today. Only 2 players let us down today. Ronaldo is treated so unfairly by our supporters. And I'm just going to go through a couple more. Tyrone again saying, I thought it was a pen at first glance. I'll have to have another look at it. I want to say hi to HD Gamer as well. Don't want to watch United again till August. God, it's still going on. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. We're going to move on to the next topic, which is interpretation of the rules. So it's not about the ref, it's about the rules. Okay, the ref's there to enforce the law. Okay, that's the main thing. So there's many instances there that I just want to talk about. So Elanga going through, he was touched on the way. He was honest enough to have a shot. They didn't give a penalty. Okay, but by the book. And then we're going to talk about the goal that was the third goal. They were saying that the striker was coming out, Eddie Nketiah, whatever his name is, and he was blocking. He was in the offside position and blocking De Gea's view. So by the book, according to their new rules, shouldn't that be disallowed? Also, go the Elanga thing as well. If the guy was coming through, Elanga was the last man. If he did call a foul, he did go down, he would have had to send him off as well. But I don't know, that's up in the air for me, because I know there's a new rule saying double jeopardy. I was talking to Gums earlier. He was saying the double jeopardy rule, that you can't, either give the penalty and that's it. You don't send them off.
It's a pick one. So, how hard is it to pick one?
Are the rules, guys, overall, not just today's game, but do you think the VAR's working? Are the rules being followed correctly, consistently? But are we complaining every week about VAR and referees, that kind of thing? What do you guys? Over to you guys. What do you think about this?
Can I just go first on this? So I think, from last season, if we look at VAR and the refereeing as a whole, there's a lot more. There's a lot more freedom of challenges compared to there was last season. These little slight incidents of the ball touching the hand, the penalties not given away. So I think they've relaxed the rules a little bit to allow football to be played a little bit more traditionally before VAR was really introduced. But I still think the VAR decisions are not good. The penalty incident with the handball with Cedric, he was on the floor, he was crawling, trying to separate, but that hand, that touch there, that should have been a penalty if you look at it.
Well, it looked a bit like Phil Jones when he was doing that.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a lot of inconsistencies but I think the game's been allowed to be played a little bit more when there are challenges and things aren't being as punished, where penalties aren't being given for some incidents. So I think the balance is still a little bit more in favour of VAR, of the referees, in terms of their different interpretations, which referee comes on and has these performances. But overall, I think the rules are different to every season. So when we were taught what an offside was, God, you didn't have to worry about certain things and this thing and that player getting there, or I think the fact is that there is so many different interpretations. As you as a player, you can't remember every single rule that's being changed every season, and for the last 3 seasons there's been rule changes a lot. There's been a lot of rule changes. So when you're used to playing 20 years of football at a certain way, and then these changes come in, the only person you got to rely on is a referee. And if the referees can't even get it right, then what hope have we got of coaching these players to get it right? Education is really important, I think, in this part, from the refereeing part of FA, to put into these squads and these teams, so everyone understands it a lot better, from my opinion.
Okay, anyone else with interpretation rules being done correctly?
Yeah, I think it's difficult, really, isn't it? I think it's difficult with the rules and with the refs and how they're trying to apply the rules. It is difficult, and I hate slating the refs. I do, and they've got VAR to back them up. And obviously, then when they've got VAR, they then go back and have a look at
VAR is the refs that are pissed, though.
Yeah, I know, but then they go into the box and they have a quick look at it again, and then come up. It's difficult for them then to make that decision. It is difficult. So the rules, it is difficult, but I will stick up for the officials at sometimes. They may get it wrong, they may get it right. It's just difficult. It's very difficult on Monday. It really is. But I'm hoping VI has helped slightly. It may not do, but it's hard. And then afterwards, we in the second, in the half times and in the full times, you get the referee and have a look at it. The referee and overseers will have a look at it again, and then come to another decision on it. It's so difficult.
Before we go on to this point, I just want to say, everyone in the comments, please, once again, thanks for tuning in. But please, if you press the like button for us and the notification button, if you're subscribed as well, to tune into the Man United Agenda where we can. So, Connor, I think you want to respond to this point. I totally agree. Bruno should have been sent off.
Yeah, and I wanted to also actually the point that I wanted to talk about was him. It was him talking about the rules, and I think he was spot on with his issue on the rules. Is we don't know what the rules are anymore. We see literally how many times I could have sworn last year. I don't know if you guys remember. It seemed like every week it was like, oh, this thing happened, so we're going to change the rules so that thing that happened would have been called the other way now. And it was like every other week, I think, that we were like, oh, Arsenal, banged into the back of someone's foot and they were given a penalty because of it. That's no longer going to be a penalty. We decide now we think it shouldn't be. It's so inconsistent, and it's impossible to like you said. It's impossible. Like Shaw said, it's impossible to coach a team when week in, week out we see a different set of rules. There's a different set of rules every season, and the rules, they're not even being consistently held for the entire year. We'll get halfway through the year, we'll get to January, we've got 6 new rules, or 6 rules that have been changed in some way, shape, or form. And it makes it incredibly hard on anybody playing the game to do anything if you're having to go, last week that wasn't a foul, or last week that wasn't offside, last week that was given as a goal.
Yeah.
I think it's just the interpretation of it, though, isn't it, Connor? I think there's a different interpretation every time with it, and it is confusing. I get it, Connor. Yeah, definitely. Difficult. It's very difficult.
So while we're on there, can we just discuss that goal, the third goal he scored? Do you think it should have been a no goal based on being offside and blocking the view of the goalkeeper? Because they said that's the rule now.
It's a toenail, right? You're talking about Nketiah blocking De Gea. I think from what they said was it was the Lindelof was in front of Nketiah, which also caused the blocking. The distance, the viewpoint. That's it. That's the word I'm looking for. The view that De Gea had on sight of the ball was not just being blocked by Nketiah; it was being blocked by his own player.
Yeah, and also
I have the official rule. I have the official rule here. Official rule. Obstructing, it says, and I quote, if a player obstructs the goalie from his or her attempt to get the ball without he, she, him/herself going to play the ball, then obstruction is the call. Which means if you're obstructing the goalie in any way, whether that's his view of the ball, whether that's him going to attempt to make a play on the ball in any way, shape, or form without trying to play the ball in any way, shape, or form, especially from an offside position, it's obstruction. He was offside. He made no play on the ball because he was offside, but yet was directly into his vision and his line of sight, and that's why we saw a very late reaction from De Gea for that third goal. And I would love to see, I agree, I'd love to see the back camera view of that to really make sure that it was actually, and it's weird that they didn't show that on live TV, that they didn't show a back camera view, because if you show it from behind the goal and you see that he's directly in line with De Gea, it has to be an obstruction call 100% of the time. And maybe this game goes completely differently.
Connor, there is from BT Sport when I was watching it, they looked at the back of the camera view at the back. I don't know if Monday saw it or Shah. They did show that view, and there was no block. There was nothing there.
There's nothing there. Okay, because I know from the angles that I've seen, it looks like he's directly in front of De Gea's line of sight when that ball goes and gets kicked, and he's in a completely offside position.
Guys, post-season, I think we should talk about the rules for football, because I'm confused myself. They're changing all the time. I turn up and play a game this season, and the referee's telling me about rules I didn't even know about. I'm saying, oh my God, we need to know this. They need to be updated on things. So I'm confused. I think you've got to go by the book. But with football, it's such a beautiful game. Sometimes I think to myself, would it be better just to go back to the referee making the decision. I mean, obviously, you can be have a money bag or be bribed to make bad decisions, that kind of thing. But I don't think there's no consistency with VAR either. Like you said, it's changing all the time. But anyway, we're going to move on to the next point, unless you guys want to finish up, summarize on that.
Monday for that particular goal as well. That fella who scored, what's his name? Let's have a look. I'll get his name up.
Zaka.
Yeah, Zaka. He wasn't closed down, was he? Either. No, he wasn't closed. So I just want to finish on that point. Wasn't closed down. He went, where should I put it? Left or right?
I will say there is one referee who would not have been bribed in today's game. Still, it's Pierluigi Collina.
Yeah.
Can't forget about the greatest of all time.
Just don't know. But also as well, I think Bruno should have been sent off because he did follow through. Whether it was a leg breaking challenge, whether he just touched him, it was
bad. It was bad. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't matter. It was
stupid. Frustrating.
We've got 10 minutes, guys, and not many, 10 people in the comments. Make sure you press the like button, guys. I want to keep this one short because we're going to do player rating and any other business after this. Did the better team lose? I thought we played pretty well. I know Cannons was at the game. He's got a better view than all of us. He said first 35 minutes was Arsenal. We came back into it until they scored, and then our heads went down. But I thought we played some good stuff in the first half, especially we had a lot of chances that if we really look back, we could have had more goals. And like Shah and Paddy was saying, that we have to really focus on finishing our dinner rather than focus on the ref or that kind of thing. So I thought we played all right. We represent ourselves pretty decent following that poor game in the midweek. Did the better team lose, guys? In a word, maybe. Let's move on.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
The better team. I'll just say a sentence. The better team lost in concerns to chances missed.
Okay. We're going on now to player ratings, and Shah, you get opportunity to talk about Sancho. Let's go through the team. We do it by the defense first. And we're going to go to De Gea. Made a couple of good saves. I'm going to even give him 6 out of 10. Patrick?
6 out of 10, mate. Same with you.
Okay. Shah and Yank?
7 if it weren't for De Gea for me, mate. Like, we'll be.
Yeah, if it was, I would say 7. If it's not for De Gea, we're down. We're giving up 5 goals a game pretty much if it's not for him.
Yeah.
Okay, the defense as a unit, I always said to try and do it as a unit. As the defense, I'm going to give them a 4 today. I just think the communication was bad, and obviously the 2 goals that they scored, the third goal I accept. The 2 goals that they scored could have been prevented. Guys, that's a 4 from me. Defense, even if you want to single out someone, just let me know.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll give 2, but that's really, really generous.
Ooh. Okay.
Useless. All of them, useless. Get out.
Toothless, yeah.
Useless. Get rid. On your bike, pal.
So you're giving it 2 as well, there, Shard? Is that?
No. For me, I think Varane done so much running in that game to cover so much of the mistakes. I'd like to give. I'm going to go individual quickly. So Tellez 4 bad mistakes. Dallo 5. He tried. He had a couple of shots. Going forward, he was fine, but defensively, we know where he is. Lindelof at 5, but Varane, I'll give him a 6 because he did cover a lot of ground.
Defense, please, Connor.
Yeah, I'm going to go individual as well. I'm going to give Tellez a 1. That was diabolical. That's Sunday League at best from him. I wouldn't even want him on my Sunday League team at this point. Dallo, I'm going to give a 3 because, like you said, he did have a couple nice shots, and I agree that ball shouldn't have that first goal shouldn't have even had to be something he had to deal with. In the end, it should have been dealt with by Tellez. I will say, I agree though. The third goal I think was in the defense as well because I like Paddy's point that Jacques wasn't closed down whatsoever, and he was allowed to just fire away. And if you let him fire away, eventually they're going to hit one sweetly enough to have it go in. And then the center backs, I think I'll give a 5 and then a 6 for Varane just because. Like it was said, he was doing everything he could to try and help this team, but unfortunately, he's got pish that surrounds him every single week, and he can't do it. He does as much as he can.
All right, midfield, I'm giving Tomley a 4, Matic a 6. I think Matic is a good player, needed him today. He gave us some opportunities to control the game and build as a team. Let's go back to you, Connor.
5 for McTominay, 6 for Matic. Wasn't great, but there were moments where the midfield was decent, but not good enough as well.
Okay, Paddy?
Yeah, I give 5 McTominay, 6 Matic, but again, Matic is not fit for us. He's going. Thank you very much. Lovely to have had you. Well, you're on your bike anyway.
Yeah,
so
I'm happy to see him. I'm happy to see him go, but also thankful that he's with the club.
Yeah.
SHAH, Matic, and McTominay in midfield.
Yeah, I'll give them both a 5.
Okay. I didn't include Bruno in midfield because he's not responsible enough to play.
He doesn't drop back like you say, Omondi.
Well,
Yeah,
Bruno,
exactly.
He doesn't drop back like a midfielder.
Half time here is saying the third goal was Bruno's fault because the ball got played out. Bruno didn't control it properly and it puffed off to the goal scorer.
But as a defensive
Bruno,
team, if it's turned over, you have to press, though, as a team. If you can't excuse not pressing because someone lost. Possession is lost all the time. That doesn't mean you don't press.
Connor, do you know what it was like? It's statues. You suspend time. It was like they suspended time.
I thought that was. It's like a museum watching them try and press.
Yeah. Oh, stop.
All right. So Bruno, I'm going to give him a 3 or 4. Elanga, I thought he'd done okay. Ronaldo played him a couple of times, showed a lot of pace. I'll give him a 5. Sancho, I thought he played well. I'll give him a 6 or 7. And I'm leaving Ronnie to the end. Guys, I want Bruno, Elanga, and Sancho, please.
Bruno 3, Sancho 6, Elanga 6.
Anyone want to add to that? You don't want to talk about Sancho now?
Sorry.
Sorry, yes. Right.
Your opportunity. Here's your window now.
For my opportunity, I think Sancho, personally, was one of the most positive players that we had on the pitch alongside Elanga and Ronaldo, if I'm honest. You give him the ball, he wants to go forward, he wants to do it. I think with Sancho, do you remember like the Martial Shaw overlap? They just knew how each other worked. I think once he's got a relationship with someone behind him, I think he'll be able to do a lot more. The other side of it, that Sancho, I think there's a couple of comments in the chat where Sancho just didn't have no end product. I think the problem is when you look at the end product and you look at 4 Arsenal defenders, straight their midfielders coming back to help their team out, and you've only got Ronaldo and you've got Matic on the edge of the box. I mean, like literally, what else can Sancho do? He can't do anything really. So I think for that, for me, I think Sancho has got an opportunity today to show what he did do, and his feet were great. And he doesn't, he's not scared. He's not scared to take on 3-4 players, and that's what I want to see. That's what Man United's about: fearlessness, and he's fearless.
Paddy?
Yeah, on that point of that, Elanga, bless him, I give him 5 today. But Bruno was captain today. He didn't play like a captain. He played. So, again, another worth captain. Don't give him the armband for another 2 years. But Sancho, beautiful feet, SHAH. Beautiful feet. Fantastic. But for me, no substance. I'll give him another season. I know he needs time. I get what you're saying. I just don't think I see an end product at the moment. He's come on great this season. He's, when he was playing at Dortmund, I saw a lot of that this year, but not enough final. But he did. I saw a few little bits of skill today. But for me, he's got to do a lot more. And I hope Ten Hag brings him on, especially on the system that he plays. We discussed it last night. I hope he brings him on. And that's my view on Sancho. So, for me, he's got to do a lot more. Come on.
At Dortmund, he had Bellingham, he had Royce, he had he's got a different quality of mental players, like that actually play in a similar style. And I think that's the problem that we, as United fans, have to accept. We don't have players that are that mentally football ready.
But SHAH, they've as players individually, they've got to take responsibility and go, grasp the nettle and go for it, regardless of who they're playing with. I get your point on that, SHAH. It's a good point. But they've got to grasp the nettle themselves and go for it. Roy Keane didn't, and there were a few other players that played. A lot of them had individual responsibility. Come on. You know what I mean? Push forward.
Connor, Arctic Man here is saying Bruno 0, Elanga 5, and Sancho 6. Do you want to add what you think?
Bruno's a 3. I mean, missing a penalty and then having that 10th minute chance where he just, for all the world, should have scored and didn't. And that would, I think, change the moment. And the third goal.
And the tackle on Tavares.
There's a lot he did wrong. I'm very close to giving him a negative. If I really wanted to be fair here, I'd give him a negative. I will say one thing. I think the difference with Sancho, and I'm going to kind of point to what I talked about with Varane again, being at the back with the communication stuff. I think one thing that hurts our wingers a lot with them being threats in behind, they can't really do what they want with the runs in behind and the trying to get back in deep into their, because I think there's so much concern for the defense that if we give the ball away at all because we're trying to do those forward runs and trying to attack aggressively, our defense is so bad they're going to give up a goal immediately. And we've seen that time and time out that when we try and go and we get countered, most of the time that counter is either ending in a corner for them or a goal, unless they absolutely muff it. So I think you get a defense that's worth the crap and isn't worth, a bag of chips and a pound. You might see a little bit more freedom from Rashford. I mean, Rashford, I think when he's at his best, it was because he was able to freely just do what he felt best and run as fast as he could with those backwards runs. We saw it with Lindelof a lot, where Lindelof would hit those balls in behind, where Rashford would just use his speed to get in behind the defense. Now we've got a defense where he can't do that because, and it's the same with Sancho, because, they have to worry a little bit more about being able to get back. So I will give Elanga a 6, and I'll give Sancho a 6 as well. I think both of them are decent. Elanga's very young. I think he's going to improve his finishing as time goes on. I think Sancho, now that he's going to be going into a second season, also will be starting to get a little bit better. I just think, unfortunately, there's a good amount of players where I'm either pretty much everybody in this first team is either sell them now or they just next year should be better.
I just want to say hi to Proud Terriers. Good evening, or we'll go through a couple of comments, just a couple. That's all. Bart is saying it's interesting to see what role Bruno will play under Ten Hag. I feel he will be more of an 8 who will be tasked with unlocking defense and involving in aggressive pressing. And also, just want to go through Bath Times team. He's going De Gea 6, Dallo 6, Varane 4, Lindelof 6, Telles 3, Matchett 7, McTominay 6, Bruno 3, Sancho 5, Ronaldo 7, Elanga 5. And finally, just want to say here again, he said McTominay created more chances than Bruno, Sancho, and Elanga combined. We want to talk about Ronaldo before we go to the last point. I'm going to give him a 7. But Ronaldo was fantastic today. Hold up play was brilliant. He's playing people into their stride. Really good, nice weighted passes. Intelligent player. For a guy his age, he's really shown what class is. A couple of times balls were pinged into him and he killed it dead with really nice control. So I thought Ronaldo was really shone today. I'll give him a 7. Guys, quickly on Ronaldo before we go on.
Yeah, I was trying to say about Ronaldo, I think his professionalism was great, especially all the news he had today. I think he played some great balls through. The great goal, by the way, took a lot of, I think I'll definitely give him maybe a 7 or 8 today, Ronaldo. Again, he stepped up to it. They did stand off a little bit. They stayed up a little bit off him, but he didn't take that opportunity. But yeah, I think he did a great today, Ronaldo. I think he was the one standout player for me personally today. So good on Ronaldo today. Thank you.
Shah?
See, is all I gotta say, man. You know what I mean? He's held up. He's 2 games, the last 2 wins. Tottenham, Norwich. He scored a hat trick, 6 goals, and he scored a goal today. Without him, where are our goals coming from? We can't. We for me today, he just shows why he is the number 9. Held up play, like you said. He's always looking. He was looking for runners. He was passing. He was in defense. He was on the left. He was on the right. I think even he had a turning goal as well at some point. But to be honest with you, like all in all, he was all over the pitch today. And I think with everything that's gone on, like for him to turn up and put in that performance after what's happened, most people, genuinely wouldn't even probably be turning up to work after news like that, So he's turned up, he showed up to get his money's worth. And for us, I've got nothing to say. For anyone who's got any criticism of Cristiano Ronaldo, any of our fan base or anything, then, I think we've all got to take our hats off to that performance. He played with his heart today and he showed the mental charisma that we need to have across the other 24 mountains that are in our squad.
Well said, Shah. Before I go on to you, Connor, just want to say hi to Ahmed Saeed. He said Scotty only had 7 passes in the first half. Connor, Ronaldo, please.
Yeah, I would say it's not 24 men in our squad. It's about 18 boys and probably 6 men, because how they play, it's like they're playing U16s with the quality of them. But no, it's once again Ronaldo being a shining example of why he's in the discussion for the greatest player of all time, because he's in his mid to late 30s now, is coming off of losing a child and still comes back to play Arsenal knowing this is an important game and is far and above the best player we have on the pitch. I mean, his goal that he had, Matic, I will say I saw something that Matic should be a little bit higher because he had the cross to Ronaldo, but Ronaldo does everything to make that goal happen. It's a good cross, but Ronaldo has to beat out 2 defenders just to get to that ball to score and then poke it past Ramsdale. That's Ronaldo being the best. And I'm thankful that we have him because he's our entire offense. So for me, it's an 8.
Well done. All right, guys, I just want to show you something quickly. And it might dishearten you all, but here we go.
Right, it's been nice talking, guys. Thanks very much.
Hey, I will say if it makes you feel better, Tottenham is still 0-0 against Brentford.
Okay, just first thoughts. I mean, what do you think about this? Come on.
To be fair, Monday, we're not good enough for Champions League. We're not good for the Conference League, and we're not good enough for that poor man's league as well.
I'm going to quote De Gea.
Europa
I'm going to quote De Gea.
And do you know what? We're just not good enough, and that is it. I don't know what you're right. Rio Ferdinand called it today. We're just not good enough at all. We're just not good enough, and it's been going on for so many games now. That's good. We want to take advantage. We'll take advantage. We didn't take advantage, did we? The last few games, we just haven't.
Shah, we've got 10 losses and 9 draws. Well, what do you think about this?
Mate, I mean, to see that though, when you look at that table, it hurts. Like, it doesn't matter where we are. Not being in that top 4 does hurt. And I think, like, going to the matches, watching the transitions of different managers, we've had a depleted squad since January, purely because of the loans that have gone out and the players not turning up, injuries, etc. And it goes to show, like, you literally need to have a 40-man squad to be able to deal with all these fixtures, all these problems and issues. And looking at that table, I think we're even lucky to be 6th, if I'm honest with you. I think the fact that the teams around us have failed to take advantage in certain circumstances, last weekend and the weekend before that, was actually, evident that other teams around us are just having just as bad luck, right? So, but where we are and our expectations are as Manchester United Football Club is always to be competing. And the players, I don't know what is happening. And the fact that the results on and off the pitch this season have been a calamity is the best word that I can use. It just goes to show where we are. 6th, okay. I don't think under Ollie we finished there. So for me, I think we are just where we are because of the squad that we have. And these transitions of managers are always going to be a problem.
And over to you, Connor. What do you think about the league? What do you think about the Premiership and the whole? Do you think it's the best league in the world? What do you think about the levels?
I'm going to quote De Gea's tweet that he had after this game, word for word. In all honesty, today we could have gotten more from this game, but in this season, we are exactly where we deserve to be. Yeah. In the end, we are exactly where we deserve to be. Our performances have put us here. Nobody else has put us in this position but us. Our performances all year have been diabolical for a team like Manchester United in the history we have in this league. And there's no one else to blame but ourselves for where we've ended up. It is absolutely just, I hope that every single player, I think Ronaldo's the only one in the entire squad that can hold his head high at the end of this season. He did everything he could, but the rest of the team should be ashamed of themselves and ashamed of the performances they put in week and week out, because it's absolutely robbery, the amount of pish that they do on the field for the amount that we're paying them and the amount of love that the fans have for this club, to have to go through this week in, week out from people that were supposed to be very, very good and said they loved coming here and we're going to give everything for this club. They are not giving everything for this club, because if they were, this is not the position we would be in come almost May.
Okay. Guys, just want to say hi to Leicester Till I Die. Best Leicester channel out there, and that's Mr. Chris. How you doing, Chris? Everyone give him a wave. We're looking down at you still, Chris, but the way we're playing, you might overtake us. Who knows by the end of the season? But good luck to Leicester, because I love Leicester because of you, Chris. You're doing a great job with your channel. And finally, I'm just going to say any other business, guys. AOB, because we're going to wind up this meeting. And anything you want to say, guys, just let it out now.
Monday, can I just say, just plug me thing in so I get some power. Interesting fact, actually, just two things. Ralph, his last press conferences, I know he's leaving now because Ten Hag's coming, has suddenly gone, these are crap. These players are crap. No confidence at all. It's interesting how Ralph has changed his tune on his last press
He
conference.
can speak. Well, now he's only got a consultancy job for 6 days a month, so he knows it's like, fuck it. I'm only getting paid for 6 days a month. I can say what I want now. And
I've noticed it's just this change. And just an interesting, my second point, the discussion after the game with Martin Keown and Rio Ferdinand. Rio was going on about, I do respect him as a defender, but he talked about the players, this, and this. It's the managers that inspire players. These last, and Maguire in the week went, oh, well, I could have, he picked me though, because I'm really, if I was crap, they wouldn't have picked me. No, they would, something went wrong, very wrong in the picking you, pal. But I'm just saying, it's the managers. Klopp inspires that Liverpool team. Guardiola inspires that team. They follow his philosophy. That's my view on it. So that's me done. Thank you.
Shah, last words. Any other business you want to?
Well, I think, to be honest with you, I think like one thing that annoys me is these players going to social media, apologizing. Oh, I'm really sorry, we did this. And then they turn up the next week to do the same thing again. It's like going to McDonald's and not getting a full packet of fries in when you order a medium chips. They give you like a small bag. Do you know what I mean? Like it's literally, that is it. Every single time you turn up and you keep going back to that same McDonald's, and it comes to a point where you kind of, there's not enough. I think Talk's been talking about bag of chips anyway. So like, I tried to bring in some chips for you, Talk. But the thing is these bag of chips is literally half empty. In the old days when you used to pay 30p to get a nice big bag, you'd be happy, you pop it open, eat a couple of crisps. Nowadays, you're like looking at it, and this is like United at the moment. They are like a half bag of chips for 50p from Walker's with not enough potatoes in it. And literally, that's it. That's, and I think the fact that the players aren't responding to the managers, are not playing, and this isn't one manager, right? This is Louis van Gaal. This is Michael Carrick, this is Oli, this is Mourinho. And now we've got Ralph Rangnick, who is meant to revolutionise these players. Like, I've literally not seen a worse United performance since Ferguson's left, to be honest with you. And even under Oli...
Ferguson lost to Man City by 5 or 6 goals, didn't he? We lost 5-0 to Liverpool recently as well.
Yeah, but if you look at the duration... over that campaign, we could lose a game like that, and we'll come back and go and turn up the next game and go and batter another team and make up for that deficit. We don't make up for no deficits. We don't make up for a fact that the players are that's happening. Like I remember, I think I was watching this Man City thing, and something happened to David Silva. I think it was for his mum or something like that. But the squad and Pep got the team to play for David Silva. I don't know I think it is in the documentary. I've seen a clip, right? And I think
I don't watch anything.
The fact that the players reacted on the pitch is all I'm asking for. When I turn up to Man United, I go and buy my chips from the Man United thing. I don't like, I like spending my money in the ground. It helps everyone around, etc. I want to see the players turn up and literally come with a full bag of chips.
For Shah, Guardiola inspires the team, bro. He's inspired. He's orchestrated like a conductor. I'm sorry, I've watched him. He conducts that team.
Can we all say hi to Mike Hayes as well, please? I haven't seen Mike before. Welcome to the channel, Mike. He's saying the Glazers deserve Conference League, to be honest. Unacceptable ownership. They need to F off, and I include Arnold in that. Neville's correct. The club is broken. And also...
please don't associate them with all of America, please. This happened last time. The first times that there was the whole Glazers out thing, I got nicely put in that. People were talking about burning the flags and saying I didn't know shit. Please don't. They're not. We don't claim them. They're aliens. They're absolute specimens. Don't associate them with Americans, please.
Connor, I'm going to leave you with the final word on this. But also, can you just incorporate this? He said Ralph, because we haven't heard this, we were doing the show, but apparently Ralph said top 4's gone. Will we see the kids now? Bath Time's asking. So final word, please. And what do you see for the rest of the season? You want to see some kids incorporated into the squads?
Bro, everybody, I think that I think you should have 3 players from the senior team still play any games the rest of this year. Ronaldo, De Gea, and Sancho. Everybody else, kids play. Fernandez, Savage, Fish, Garancho, Hannibal, Shola. If they're not one of Ronaldo, Sancho, or De Gea, like Ajax has done with Andre Onana, send him on holiday. Send him on holiday, tell him to off for the rest of the year and play the kids because the season's gone. I have more faith in the academy players that I've watched for the last 2 years develop really well than anybody pretty much in this first team. And I also will say, quick personal thing for me, my Scottish team has just won the Scottish Championship and we'll be back in the Premiership next year. So was riding on a high last night from that and kind of ruined my mood, United being pish again.
Well, guys, we spent an hour and 15 minutes going over this game. I think it was fully packed full of passion, emotion, tears. Yeah, I was crying earlier, really upset. But and some great comments from you guys and the people in the comments as well. Thank you very much for joining the Man United Agenda. If you have watched, make sure you press the like button. We're signing out. Say thank you to Yang, thank you to Shah, big up Paddy as well. Everyone was fantastic today, and we will see you on Monday. Take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.
Let's go!